Rolling.
Oh. Of the three, whenever you first buy your rifles, there's three basic things you need. We talked about it in the sling setup video. Sling optic light. That's going to be the core of your rifle attachments. We went over the sling, how to set it up, why we set it up the way we set it up. You can go back, you can watch that video. Make sure you subscribe to Filthy Firearms and to Dire Armory. But the next thing I wanted to get into was kind of your optic. And it is really hard to do an optic video because there's a myriad of things and setups, and I've got long 20-inch ARs that have, you know, giant, 24x zoom scopes on them. I've got red dots, I've got ones with iron sights on them. It depends on what you're doing. So the reason I like to use my rifle as an example is because this is a very general purpose rifle. We're not shooting like super long distances. I honestly haven't even stretched this thing. Guys here have told me later on today they're gonna help me stretch this thing, and they said you'd be surprised what an 11.5-inch rifle can do.
All right, come back to center for your wind hole.
Send.
Impact. So you just got a third round hit at 550 yards.
With an 11.5-inch barrel. Silencer Co. Saker 5.56K. So on my rifle, I've got the EOTech XPS2. I actually have an XPS3 sitting on the shelf, but this one's gray and looking cool as half the battle. So I kept the gray one on, even though I have the 3, I keep the 2 on. And then I have the magnifier on the top. Now, I used to run the ACOG. So this is Joel's setup. It is a super good setup. The Triticon is a bomb-proof optic. It's a fixed 4X, meant to be run on a 16-inch 5.56 barrel. Military's been using it for years. It's been dragged through Afghanistan for the last 20 years. This optic is not going to die on you. The batteries are never, there's no battery, so you're not going to worry about power failure or anything. This is an optic that will get you through the zombie apocalypse. And on top of that, he's got his Triticon RMR. We call this piggybacked. Some people run them on a 45-degree cant. I used to run a 45-degree cant. I switched to piggyback because it helps you with that head-up profile that you want to keep when you're shooting. And if you start getting into night vision or anything like that, it just gives it that space so that you're not like tilting your head over with, goggles on and all that. However, most of the shooting I do is short range, flat range, like within 100 yards, whatever. And I found myself using the RMR more than I ended up using the actual ACOG just in my application. The only way you're gonna be able to answer the question of what optic you should get is figuring out what your purpose is. If you live in Alaska on 200 acres, it's different than living in downtown in the city, right? There's LVPOs, there's holographic magnifiers, and then you've got some of the fixed optics that you have. You will not know whether you're running the correct setup unless you get out and train. So get out there, train, and stay safe. Just be safe, remember the 4 firearm safety rules. Treat every gun like it's loaded. I like to imagine that there's a giant lightsaber that comes out of the end of my barrel and it goes on forever.
I did that as a kid, if you know what I mean.
You don't sweep it across anybody and cut anybody in half, right? Keep things pointed either down or up.